Have you ever been in a conversation where someone keeps pushing, questioning your choices, twisting your words, or subtly disrespecting you, and you feel that pressure rising inside? Your heart speeds up, your mind goes blank, and hours later, the perfect reply suddenly appears too late. Most people believe that shutting someone up means being louder, sharper, or more aggressive. But that belief is exactly what keeps people trapped in exhausting arguments. Because the truth is this: the person who controls their emotions controls the conversation. Psychology shows that people who provoke, criticize, or dominate conversations aren't looking for truth. They're looking for reaction. And every explanation you give, every defense you make, gives them more control. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. They taught that real power isn't found in winning arguments, but in choosing what deserves your energy. That's why the smartest replies are often quiet, brief, and emotionally neutral. They don't escalate, they don't justify, and they don't invite further conflict. In this video, you'll learn smart replies that instantly shut people down, not by humiliating them, but by removing the fuel they rely on. These replies work with co-workers, family members, manipulative friends, and anyone who tries to pull you into unnecessary drama. By the end of this video, you won't just know what to say, you'll understand why these responses work and how to deliver them with calm confidence. Let's begin. Before we dive in, I want to share something personal. I get a lot of messages from people who feel surrounded by fake friends, constant drama, or emotional chaos, and they just want a place to be real. That's why I created a Patreon community, a private space where you can open up, share what you're going through, and get my personal insights. It's also where you can request specific video topics if there's something you're struggling with that you want me to break down here on the channel. If you're serious about growth, peace, and self-awareness, you'll fit right in. The link is below. Now, let's get into it. Here are things fake people always say, and the hidden truth behind each one. 1. I don't think this conversation is productive. This reply is powerful because it reframes the entire interaction. Most arguments survive because both people are focused on being right. This sentence quietly shifts the focus to something far more important: value. When you say, "I don't think this conversation is productive," you're not attacking the person. You're not accusing them of being wrong, rude, or manipulative. You're simply questioning whether this exchange is worth continuing. And that's psychologically disarming. Here's why it works. People who argue aggressively, criticize endlessly, or provoke others usually rely on one thing: engagement. They want you to defend yourself. They want you emotionally involved. They want the back and forth. The moment you label the conversation as unproductive, you remove its purpose. You're saying, "This isn't leading anywhere meaningful, and I'm aware of it." That awareness alone shifts the power dynamic. Why this reply stops people cold. Most people don't expect this response because it doesn't play by normal argument rules. Arguments usually follow this pattern: claim, counterclaim, defense, escalation. But when you say this conversation isn't productive, you step outside the pattern. You're no longer participating in the emotional tug-of-war. Instead of asking, "Who's right?" you're asking, "What's the point?" And once that question enters the room, the argument starts to collapse. The psychology behind it: from a psychological standpoint, this reply introduces meta-communication, talking about the conversation rather than inside it. This forces the other person to confront something uncomfortable. Are they actually trying to solve anything? Or are they just venting, controlling, or provoking? Many people don't like being made aware of their own behavior in real time. That's why you'll often see one of three reactions. They stop talking, they change the subject, they get defensive and exposed. In all three cases, you've already won, because the conversation no longer controls you. Why you should say it calmly. Tone matters more than words. This reply works best when said calmly, slowly, without sarcasm, without visible frustration. The calmer you are, the stronger it lands. If you say it emotionally, it sounds like frustration. If you say it calmly, it sounds like authority. And authority ends arguments faster than aggression ever could. What you're really communicating. Without saying it directly, this sentence communicates several things at once. I'm self-aware. I value my time and energy. I'm not here to argue endlessly. I know when something isn't going anywhere. That combination signals emotional maturity, and emotionally mature people are very hard to manipulate. Why manipulative people hate this reply? Manipulative individuals rely on confusion, guilt, and emotional hooks. They want you explaining, defending, or doubting yourself. This reply gives them none of that. You're not explaining your position, justifying your feelings, proving anything. You're simply opting out. And opting out is terrifying to people who rely on control. When to use this reply? This response is especially effective when the same points are being repeated. The conversation is turning circular. You feel pressured to justify yourself. The tone is becoming disrespectful. You sense the goal is conflict, not resolution. It works in workplaces, family discussions, friendships, and even romantic relationships, because it's neutral, not hostile. What not to do after saying it? The biggest mistake people make is adding too much afterward. Don't follow it with long explanations, emotional defenses, justifications. Silence after this sentence is part of its power. Say it, pause, let it sit. If they continue pushing, you've already established your boundary, and repeating yourself only strengthens it. The Stoic perspective, Stoic philosophy teaches that not every interaction deserves your attention. Marcus Aurelius wrote about conserving inner energy and avoiding pointless disputes. This reply embodies that principle. You're not rejecting the person, you're rejecting wasted energy, and that's the difference between weakness and wisdom. Final thought on this reply. I don't think this conversation is productive, isn't rude. It's not passive-aggressive. It's not avoidance. It's discernment. It tells the world, I choose conversations that lead somewhere, and I know when to walk away. And once people realize you can't be dragged into pointless conflict, they stop trying. That's real power. That doesn't apply to me. This reply is quiet, clean, and deceptively powerful. At first glance, that doesn't apply to me sounds almost too simple to matter, but psychologically, it does something very few responses can do. It cuts the emotional cord instantly. Most confrontations continue because someone accepts a frame that was never meant for them in the first place. They accept an accusation, a generalization, or a label, and then waste energy trying to defend against it. This sentence refuses the frame entirely. You're not arguing the claim. You're not correcting them. You're not explaining yourself. You're saying, you're talking about something, but it isn't me. And once you remove yourself from the frame, the conversation loses its target. Why this reply is so effective? Many people speak in blanket statements. People like you always. Everyone who does this is, if you were serious. You would These statements are designed to pull you into defending your character. When you respond with "they doesn't apply to me," you quietly dismantle the entire strategy. There's nothing to argue with. You didn't say they were wrong. You didn't say they were unfair. You simply declined the label. And labels only work when you accept them. The psychological mechanism at work. From a psychological standpoint, this reply works because it prevents identity entanglement. Arguments escalate when people feel their identity is under attack. The moment you feel labeled, you feel compelled to prove or disprove something. This sentence stops that process at the door. You're communicating, "I know who I am. I don't need external validation. Your definition doesn't define me." That level of self-containment is deeply unsettling to people who rely on emotional leverage. Why calm delivery is crucial. This reply must be delivered without defensiveness. If you say it with irritation, it sounds like denial. If you say it calmly, it sounds like certainty. Certainty doesn't invite debate. The ideal tone is neutral, almost factual, like stating the weather. That neutrality sends a powerful signal. This topic doesn't touch me. Stentward. This reply silently communicates. Without saying much, "That doesn't apply to me," communicates several strong messages. I'm not internalizing your assumptions. I'm not responsible for correcting your worldview. I'm emotionally separate from this claim. And emotional separation is what ends most manipulative conversations. Why toxic and manipulative people hate this response? Manipulative people thrive on projection. They take traits they dislike, fear, or deny in themselves, and assign them to you. This reply blocks projection completely. You're not reflecting it back. You're not absorbing it. You're letting it fall to the ground. When projection fails, manipulators often change tactics, escalate emotionally, or disengage altogether, all of which reveal far more about them than about you. When to use this reply? This response is especially effective when someone is stereotyping you. You're being guilted through generalizations. Someone is projecting motives onto you. You're being pulled into a narrative that isn't yours. It's powerful in family dynamics, workplaces, social settings, and online discussions, where assumptions spread quickly. What not to add? After saying it, resist the urge to explain. The moment you add, "because what I really meant was, let me clarify," you reopen the door you just closed. This reply works best when followed by silence or a topic shift. Let them sit with it. The Stoic perspective, Stoicism, teaches that we suffer not from events themselves, but from the judgments we attach to them. This reply rejects the judgment entirely. You're saying your interpretation doesn't enter my inner world. That's Stoic resilience in action. Final thought on this reply: "That doesn't apply to me," is not dismissive. It's self-contained. It shows you know where you end and where others begin. And once people realize they can't define you, can't label you, and can't provoke self-doubt, they stop trying. That's the quiet strength behind this sentence. 3. I trust my judgment. This sentence is small, but it carries enormous psychological weight. I trust my judgment doesn't argue. It doesn't persuade, and it doesn't ask for approval. It quietly announces something that immediately ends most conversations. You are no longer available for external authority over your decisions. Most people don't realize how often arguments are really about control, not correctness. Advice turns into pressure, concern turns into criticism, and disagreement turns into subtle attempts to override your autonomy. This reply shuts all of that down in one calm breath. Why this reply is so disarming. When someone questions your choices, they often expect one of two reactions. You defend yourself with explanations, or you doubt yourself and ask for reassurance. I trust my judgment offers neither. There's nothing to correct. There's nothing to debate. You're not saying they're wrong. You're saying they're not in charge, and that distinction matters. The psychology behind it. From a psychological perspective, this reply signals internal locus of control, the belief that your life is guided by your own reasoning rather than external validation. People with a strong internal locus of control are harder to manipulate, experience less anxiety in conflict, don't collapse under social pressure. When you say, "I trust my judgment," you're demonstrating this trait in real time, and people instinctively sense it. That's why this reply often ends conversations faster than logic ever could. What you're really communicating. Without saying it directly, this sentence communicates several powerful messages. I've thought this through. I accept responsibility for my choices. I don't need consensus to move forward. I'm comfortable standing alone if needed. That combination projects maturity and self-leadership. People may not agree with you, but they stop trying to steer you. Why overbearing and controlling people struggle with this reply. Controlling individuals rely on doubt. They push questions like, "Are you sure? Don't you think you're being reckless? What if this goes wrong?" These questions aren't about helping you. They're about planting uncertainty. I trust my judgment pulls that soil out from under them. There's no doubt to grow, and when doubt fails, control attempts usually fail with it. Tone makes or breaks. This reply, this sentence must be delivered with calm certainty, not defensively, not aggressively, not sarcastically. The power comes from quiet confidence. Think of it less as a response and more as a statement of fact. The calmer you are, the more final it feels. When this reply works best. This response is especially effective when someone keeps questioning your decisions. Advice turns into pressure. You're being subtly undermined. Others expect you to justify your life choices. It's particularly powerful in family dynamics, professional environments, and relationships where boundaries are being tested. What not to do after saying it. The biggest mistake is adding a justification. Avoid following it with "because I researched it," "because I've been through this before," "because someone else agrees with me." You don't need witnesses for your judgment. The moment you explain, you hand the authority back. Let the sentence stand alone. The Stoic perspective, Stoic philosophy, places enormous value on reasoned judgment. Epictetus taught that while we can't control others, we can always control how we reason and choose. I trust my judgment reflects this perfectly. You're saying, I've exercised reason, and I accept the outcome. That acceptance is where peace lives. Why this reply signals emotional strength. Emotionally fragile people outsource their confidence. They look to others for certainty, reassurance, and permission. Emotionally strong people don't. This reply signals self-respect, accountability, emotional independence, and emotional independence is deeply unsettling to people who rely on influence and persuasion. Final thought on this reply. I trust my judgment is not stubbornness, it's not arrogance, and it's not dismissal. It's self-authorship. It tells the world, I listen, I consider, and then I decide. And once people realize they can't talk you out of your own authority, they stop trying. That's the quiet finality behind this sentence. 4. That's your opinion. This sentence is one of the cleanest conversational boundary setters you can use. That your opinion doesn't challenge, it doesn't escalate, and it doesn't invite further debate. It simply reclassifies what was said. Many arguments continue because one person presents their belief as if it were an unquestionable fact. Once something is framed as truth, people feel pressure to accept it, refute it, or defend themselves against it. This reply quietly removes that pressure. You're saying, I hear you, but what you're offering is a viewpoint, not authority. And the moment something becomes just an opinion, its power drops. Why this reply is so effective? Most confrontational people rely on certainty. They speak with confidence, volume, or moral superiority to make their words feel final. That's your opinion punctures that illusion without attacking the person. You're not calling them wrong. You're not calling them ignorant. You're simply placing their statement back where it belongs, in the realm of subjectivity, and subjectivity doesn't demand compliance. The psychological shift it creates psychologically, this response changes the frame from "this is the truth" to "this is how you see it." That shift is powerful because it restores balance. Once something is acknowledged as an opinion, it no longer defines reality. It no longer defines you. It no longer requires a counterattack. You are free to disengage. Why calm delivery matters. Tone is everything here. Said sarcastically, it sounds dismissive. Said calmly, it sounds grounded and final. The ideal tone is neutral and steady, almost observational. Think of it as labeling, not reacting. The calmer you are, the more this sentence shuts things down. What this reply really communicates, without saying much, that's your opinion. Communicates, I don't confuse confidence with correctness. I can hear disagreement without internalizing it. I don't need to convert or be converted. That emotional stability is difficult to challenge. Why argumentative people struggle with this response? People who love debating thrive on friction. They want pushback, disagreement, and emotional investment. This reply gives them none of that. You're not engaging the content, you're labeling its category. And once you label it, there's nothing left to fight. That's why argumentative people often respond with repetition, louder certainty, or frustration, which only reinforces your position. When to use this reply? This response works best when someone is imposing their beliefs on you. A judgment is being presented as fact. You're being pressured to agree. A conversation is turning preachy or condescending. It's especially effective in political, moral, lifestyle, and personal choice discussions, where subjectivity is often disguised as truth. What not to add? After saying it, avoid stacking explanations on top of it. Do not follow it with, "and you're wrong because, here's why I disagree." That reopens the debate you just closed. Say it, pause, let it sit. Silence afterward reinforces its finality. The Stoic perspective. Stoicism teaches that we cannot control what others believe, but we can control how much weight we give those beliefs. This reply reflects that wisdom. You're acknowledging their view without surrendering your inner peace. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself not to let others' judgments disturb his mind. That's your opinion, is that reminder, spoken out loud. Why this reply protects your identity. One of the biggest sources of conflict is identity invasion. When someone's opinion tries to define who you are, what you value, or what you should become, this sentence blocks that invasion. You're saying your interpretation stops at you. and that boundary keeps your sense of self intact. Final thought on this reply: that's your opinion is not dismissive. It's clarifying. It returns responsibility for belief back to the person who holds it. And once people realize their opinions don't automatically command your attention or agreement, they either adjust their approach or stop pushing entirely. That's the quiet authority behind this simple sentence. 5. I'll think about it. This reply is one of the most underrated forms of conversational power. I'll think about it sounds open, reasonable, even cooperative, but psychologically, it does something very precise. It pauses the pressure without surrendering control. Most people assume shutting someone down requires firmness or confrontation. In reality, the most effective responses often delay rather than deny. This sentence creates space, and space is where your power returns. Why? This reply works so well. Pressure thrives on immediacy. Whether it's advice, persuasion, guilt, or emotional manipulation, the goal is often to make you respond now, before you've had time to reflect. I'll think about it. Breaks that rhythm. You're not agreeing. You're not refusing. You're stepping out of the moment. And once you step out, the pressure loses its leverage. The psychology behind it psychologically. This reply shifts the interaction from emotional urgency to cognitive processing. Manipulative tactics rely on speed, quick decisions, immediate reactions, emotional momentum. When you say, "I'll think about it," you slow everything down. Slowness is dangerous to manipulation. It gives your rational mind time to reassert itself. And people sense that shift immediately. What this reply really communicates beneath its simplicity. This sentence sends several strong signals. I'm not reactive. I don't make decisions under pressure. I consider before I commit. You don't control my timeline. That last message is especially important. Control over timing is a form of power. Why pushy people dislike this response? People who push for agreement often want closure on their terms. They want a yes. They want a no. They want resolution. I'll think about it gives them none of that. It denies them certainty while remaining polite. And polite uncertainty is deeply frustrating to people who rely on control. Tone is everything. This reply must be delivered calmly and sincerely, not sarcastically, not evasively, not apologetically. The ideal tone is relaxed and neutral, almost reflective. The goal is to sound thoughtful, not cornered. When said correctly, it feels final for the moment. When to use this reply? This response is especially effective when someone is pressuring you to decide. Advice starts to feel intrusive. You sense emotional manipulation. You need time to think without confrontation. It works beautifully in workplaces, family conversations, sales situations, and personal relationships. What not to do after saying it? The mistake many people make is over-explaining. Avoid following it with, "I just don't know yet. I'm confused. I'm not sure what I want." Those additions weaken the response and invite further pressure. "I'll think about it" works best standing alone. Why silence? Afterward strengthens. After you say this, pause. Silence reinforces that the conversation has reached a temporary end. If they push again, repeating the sentence calmly is more powerful than adding new words. Repetition signals resolve. The Stoic perspective, Stoicism, values deliberate judgment over impulsive reaction. Epictetus warned against being rushed into decisions by others' opinions or emotions. "I'll think about it," reflects that discipline. You're choosing reflection over reaction. Why this reply protects your autonomy. Many people lose their boundaries, not because they say yes, but because they feel forced to respond immediately. This sentence protects you from that trap. It reminds everyone involved, decisions belong to the person who lives with the consequences, and that person is you. Final thought on this reply. "I'll think about it" is not avoidance. It's self-respect. It keeps conversations civil while preserving your autonomy. And once people realize they can't rush you, can't corner you, and can't pressure you into instant agreement, they either slow down or stop pushing entirely. That's the quiet control behind this simple sentence. 6. We're going in circles. This sentence is a calm, precise way to end a conversation that has stopped moving forward. When you say, "We're going in circles," you're not criticizing the person, you're diagnosing the process. And once a conversation is named as repetitive and unproductive, it loses its momentum. Most arguments don't continue because of disagreement. They continue because no one acknowledges that nothing new is happening. This reply does exactly that. Why this reply is so effective: arguments feed on the illusion of progress. As long as people feel like something new might emerge, a breakthrough, a win, validation, they keep going. "We're going in circles" removes that illusion. You're calmly pointing out, nothing new is being added. This is repeating itself. Once repetition is recognized, persistence starts to feel pointless. The psychology behind it. Psychologically, this reply introduces pattern awareness. Pattern awareness is powerful because it shifts attention from emotion to structure. Instead of reacting to what is being said, you're observing how the conversation is unfolding. That shift creates distance, and distance dissolves emotional escalation. People find it hard to argue with a pattern they can clearly see. What this reply really communicates. Without saying it directly, this sentence communicates: I'm paying attention. I recognize when a discussion has stalled. I value resolution over repetition. I'm not emotionally trapped in this loop. Those signals convey maturity and self-control, and self-control quietly dominates chaos. Why pushy and argumentative people dislike this reply? People who enjoy arguing often rely on exhaustion tactics, repeating the same point, reframing it slightly, waiting for you to give in. "We're going in circles" exposes that tactic. It tells them, I see what's happening and I'm not playing along. Once their strategy is named, it stops working. Tone determines the outcome. This reply must be delivered calmly. If said with frustration, it sounds like complaint. If said neutrally, it sounds like assessment. Think of it as an observation, not a verdict. The calmer the tone, the harder it is to challenge. When to use this reply? This response is especially effective when the same arguments are being repeated. No new information is being introduced. Emotions are escalating without progress. You feel drained rather than clarified. It works in professional disagreements, family conflicts, and personal relationships. Anywhere discussions risk turning into emotional loops. What not to add after saying it? Avoid turning this into an accusation. Do not follow it with "because you won't listen," because you keep saying the same thing. That reactivates defensiveness. Say it, pause. Let the observation stand on its own. Why silence afterward is powerful. After you say this, silence does important work. It forces the other person to confront the reality of the situation. Are they repeating themselves? Is there anything new to add? Often, there isn't. And silence makes that clear. The Stoic perspective, Stoic philosophy teaches that persistence without progress is wasted energy. Marcus Aurelius warned against being dragged into endless disputes that offer no growth. This reply reflects that wisdom. You're choosing clarity over conflict. Why this reply protects your energy. Endless conversations drain emotional and mental energy. We're going in circles acts as an energy boundary. It protects you from being worn down by repetition, frustration, and emotional fatigue. Final thought on this reply. We're going in circles is not dismissal, it's discernment. It acknowledges effort without rewarding futility. And once people realize you won't stay trapped in repetitive conflict, they either move the conversation forward or let it end. That's the quiet authority behind this sentence. 7. You may be right. This sentence is one of the most psychologically disruptive replies you can use in a tense conversation. You may be right sounds like agreement, but it isn't surrender. It's strategic openness. And that's exactly why it works. Most arguments survive on resistance. Push meets push. Certainty meets certainty. Ego meets ego. This reply removes resistance without giving up your position. Why this reply is so powerful. When someone is arguing, they expect opposition. They expect counter-arguments, defensiveness. Justification, you may be right, gives them none of that. Instead of fighting their certainty, you soften it. And when certainty isn't challenged, it often collapses on its own. The psychology behind it, psychologically, this reply disarms ego investment. People argue harder when they feel their viewpoint is being threatened. Resistance activates defensiveness. You may be right signals, I'm not threatened by your perspective. That signal relaxes the nervous system, both yours and theirs. Once ego relaxes, the need to dominate disappears. What this reply really communicates, without stating it directly, this sentence communicates, I'm confident enough to allow uncertainty. I don't need to win this conversation. I can hold my ground without attacking yours. That level of security is rare, and it shifts the entire dynamic. Why controlling or argumentative people hate this reply? People who seek control rely on opposition to justify escalation. When you stop opposing, they lose momentum. You may be right denies them the fuel they're looking for. That's why controlling people often repeat themselves, push harder, or suddenly fall silent. Because the conflict they wanted is no longer available. Tone is critical. This reply must be delivered sincerely and calmly, not sarcastically, not dismissively, not passive-aggressively. The power comes from genuine neutrality. Think of it as acknowledging possibility, not conceding truth. When this reply works best, this response is especially effective when someone is emotionally invested in being right. The conversation is turning competitive. You sense ego driving the discussion. You want to de-escalate without backing down. It works in debates, disagreements, and power struggles, where escalation is the real risk. What not to add? After saying it, do not immediately contradict it. Avoid, you may be right, but you may be right. However, that cancels the effect and reopens the fight. If you need to disengage, let the sentence stand alone. Why silence afterward strengthens it after saying this? Pause. Silence creates uncertainty in the other person's mind. Are you agreeing? Are you done? Are they pushing too hard? That uncertainty slows them down, and slowing down often ends arguments. The Stoic perspective, Stoicism, values humility and emotional detachment. Epictetus taught that wisdom begins with the acceptance that we might be mistaken. You may be right reflects that humility without surrendering self-respect. Why this reply signals inner strength. Insecure people need certainty and validation. Secure people can tolerate ambiguity. This reply signals emotional strength, intellectual confidence, freedom from ego-driven conflict, and people sense that immediately. Final thought on this reply: you may be right is not weakness. It's control without force. It ends arguments not by overpowering the other person, but by removing the battlefield. And once the battle disappears, so does the need to keep talking. 8. I've already answered that. This sentence is a quiet but firm line in the sand. I've already answered that doesn't escalate, it doesn't explain, and it doesn't apologize. It simply refuses repetition. Most people don't realize how often repeated questions are used as a pressure tactic, not to gain clarity, but to wear you down, corner you, or push you into changing your answer. This reply stops that tactic immediately. Why this reply is so effective? Repetition is powerful because it creates fatigue. When someone keeps asking the same question in slightly different ways, the goal is often to make you doubt yourself, to make you over-explain, to make you give a different answer just to end the conversation. I've already answered that breaks this pattern. You're saying, nothing has changed, and neither has my answer. That finality is disarming. The psychology behind it, psychologically. Repeated questioning exploits cognitive load. The more you explain, the more mentally tired you become. Fatigue weakens boundaries. This sentence protects you from that drain. It keeps the conversation from turning into an interrogation and reminds the other person that persistence does not equal entitlement. What this reply really communicates, without saying it directly, this sentence communicates: I'm aware of what's happening. I'm not confused. I'm not backing down. I don't owe you a different answer. That clarity shuts down manipulation faster than anger ever could. Why manipulative and controlling people dislike this reply? Manipulative people rely on pressure through repetition. They believe, if I ask enough times, they'll crack. I've already answered that exposes the tactic. It signals, I see the pattern, and it's not working. Once repetition loses its power, manipulators often become frustrated or disengage. Tone determines its strength. Tone is crucial. Said sharply, it sounds defensive. Said calmly, it sounds unmovable. The best delivery is neutral and steady, almost boring. Boredom communicates certainty. When to use this reply? This response is especially effective when someone keeps revisiting a settled topic. You're being pressured to change your answer. A question is being used to provoke guilt or doubt. The conversation feels like a loop rather than dialogue. It works in personal relationships, family discussions, workplace settings, and even negotiations. What not to do. After saying it, do not restate your answer. Repeating your explanation defeats the purpose. Once you say this sentence, stop talking. Silence reinforces the boundary. Why silence afterward is so powerful. Silence forces the other person to confront reality. They've already received an answer. Continued pressure will look unreasonable. Most people back off at this point because the social cost of pushing further becomes visible. The Stoic perspective, Stoicism, teaches that clarity of judgment should not be diluted by external pressure. Marcus Aurelius warned against allowing others to disturb your inner steadiness through persistence. This reply protects that steadiness. You're choosing consistency over compliance. Why this reply protects your self-respect, changing your answer just to stop discomfort. creates resentment. This sentence prevents that. It preserves your self-respect by affirming, "My words matter, and I stand by them." Final thought on this reply. I've already answered that is not rude. It's self-defensive clarity. It ends conversations that rely on repetition instead of respect. And once people realize that repeating a question won't get them a new outcome, they stop asking. That's the quiet authority behind this sentence. 9. Let's change the subject. Sometimes, the most effective way to end an unproductive conversation is not with argument, not with defense, and not even with a direct rebuttal, but with a shift. Saying, "Let's change the subject," is one of the simplest yet most powerful sentences you can use. On the surface, it might seem casual or polite, but psychologically, it takes control of the conversation without escalating tension. Why this reply is so effective. Many arguments, debates, or manipulative conversations continue because both parties are trapped in the topic itself. The topic becomes a battlefield. Emotions escalate. Ego and pride get entangled. When you say, "Let's change the subject," you are essentially removing the battlefield. You are redirecting focus away from the source of tension to neutral territory. This is subtle, but extremely disarming. Manipulative people thrive on repetition, conflict, and escalation. Once you remove the conversation from the topic they intended to use as a weapon, their control diminishes the psychology behind it. This reply works because it shifts the interaction from content to process. Most people argue with the assumption that if they push hard enough, they can provoke a reaction, guilt, or compliance. Their attention is focused on the topic, not on the dynamics of the conversation itself. When you say, "Let's change the subject," you create psychological distance. You are no longer engaging on the battleground they expected. Instead, you are exercising choice and authority. This triggers a subtle but powerful effect. Manipulators and chronic arguers are disarmed because their usual tactics no longer apply. They cannot provoke you on the topic they wanted. What this reply really communicates, even though it's short, this sentence communicates multiple layers of authority. I am aware of the tension in this conversation. I recognize when it is no longer productive. I control the topics I engage in. I will not be manipulated or forced into conflict unnecessarily. Without sounding rude or dismissive, it sets a clear conversational boundary. People instinctively respect that clarity, especially when it is delivered calmly. Why pushy or argumentative people struggle with this reply? Many people continue arguments because they rely on escalation as a tool. They push until the other person reacts, apologizes, or explains. When you say, "Let's change the subject," you neutralize their strategy. You refuse to engage where they want you to, and in doing so, you take back control over your emotional space. This often produces one of three results. They stop pushing because their attempts to provoke or manipulate fail. They disengage, realizing that the conversation is no longer fulfilling their goal. They reluctantly switch topics, giving you the upper hand in guiding the dialogue. Tone and delivery are key. The strength of this sentence lies heavily in tone. Calm, neutral delivery communicates authority and finality without hostility. Defensive or frustrated tone risks sounding dismissive or angry, which can escalate tension. Sarcastic or condescending tone may trigger retaliation or passive aggression. The ideal approach is steady, composed, and matter-of-fact, like stating a fact rather than issuing a command. When to use this reply This sentence is especially effective when conversations are becoming emotionally charged, topics are repetitive or unproductive. You sense manipulation, guilt-tripping, or subtle pressure. You want to preserve peace without confrontation. It works in family disputes, workplace arguments, social settings, and friendships, especially when you need to control the flow without creating conflict. What not to do after saying it? The biggest mistake people make is over-explaining or adding justifications. Let's change the subject, because this is pointless. Let's change the subject. I don't want to talk about this anymore. These weaken the statement. Once you say let's change the subject, it should stand on its own. Silence afterward reinforces your authority. Let the other person process it without additional justification. The Stoic perspective, Stoicism, teaches that we should not give our energy to things outside of our control. Arguments, manipulation, and unproductive conversations are wasted energy. Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus emphasized choosing where to invest your mental and emotional attention. By shifting the conversation, you're applying that principle. You are choosing to engage only where it is useful or constructive, and removing yourself from the unproductive loop. This is the essence of Stoic calm. Control what you can, and let go of what you cannot. Why this reply protects your peace. Many conflicts escalate not because of disagreement, but because someone refuses to end a circular or toxic discussion. By saying let's change the subject, you prevent unnecessary stress, preserve your emotional energy, and signal that your boundaries are respected. This quiet control discourages further attempts to manipulate, provoke, or argue, because people sense that their usual tactics are ineffective. Final thought, let's change the subject, is deceptively simple. It's not an avoidance tactic, it's a method of regaining authority without aggression. It shifts the conversation from conflict to neutrality, protects your emotional space, and communicates calm confidence. When used correctly, it tells the world, I control what I engage with, and I decide where my attention goes. And once people recognize that, they often either follow your lead or step back entirely, leaving you in control of both the conversation and your peace. 10. I don't feel the need to explain myself. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say isn't a defense, an argument, or a justification. It's a simple declaration of autonomy. Saying, I don't feel the need to explain myself, is a sentence that carries immense authority because it removes the conversation from the usual battleground of persuasion. It doesn't attack the other person. It doesn't criticize their point, and it doesn't create conflict. Instead, it quietly asserts your control over your own life and decisions. Why this reply works? Most confrontations continue because one party expects the other to justify their choices, beliefs, or actions. Repeatedly explaining yourself can feel polite or reasonable, but manipulators, ego-driven arguers, or overly critical people often exploit this need. They use it to wear you down emotionally, create doubt in your mind, draw you into endless debate. By saying, I don't feel the need to explain myself, you remove their leverage. You are stating clearly that your energy and attention are yours alone, and that no one is entitled to demand an explanation just because they ask for one. The psychology behind it. This reply works on multiple psychological levels. Boundary setting. By refusing to explain, you are creating a strong personal boundary. Boundaries are invisible lines that communicate what is acceptable in an interaction. People who repeatedly test limits often retreat when faced with clear, calm boundaries. internal locus of control. It signals that your actions and decisions are guided by your own reasoning, not by external approval. This positions you as emotionally independent, which is inherently disarming to manipulative or controlling individuals. Disruption of control tactics. Many arguments rely on provocation, guilt, or social pressure to get you to justify yourself. This reply disrupts their strategy because it denies the fuel they need to escalate. What this reply really communicates, without saying much, this sentence communicates several strong messages. I am secure in my decisions. I am not obligated to prove myself to anyone. I value my energy and time more than satisfying unnecessary demands. Your need for explanation does not override my autonomy. These messages quietly reframe the power dynamic. You are no longer a participant in the manipulator's game. You are the referee deciding which battles are worth engaging. Why manipulative people dislike this reply? Manipulative, controlling, or overly critical people often rely on explanation as a tool for power. They push for justification, expecting that over time you will over-explain, apologize unnecessarily. Give in to their perspective when you calmly say, I don't feel the need to explain myself. You block their tactic entirely. They cannot provoke a reaction, and they often realize their usual strategies are ineffective. This can lead to one of three responses: disengagement. They stop pushing because they can't manipulate you. Escalation. They may get frustrated or try to provoke in other ways, but by staying calm, you maintain authority. Adjustment. They may change tactics, often revealing more about their intentions than yours. All three outcomes reinforce your control. Tone and delivery are critical. The effectiveness of this reply depends heavily on tone. Calm, steady delivery communicates authority, confidence, and self-possession. Defensive or frustrated delivery can sound reactive, which weakens your boundary. Sarcastic or condescending delivery can escalate tension and provoke defensiveness. Think of this sentence as a statement of fact, not a challenge or confrontation. It is most effective when said without apology and without explanation. When to use this reply? This reply is especially effective when someone repeatedly demands explanations for personal choices. You feel guilt-tripped or pressured. The conversation is turning manipulative or controlling. You want to assert boundaries without creating conflict. It works in personal relationships, professional settings, family discussions, and even online interactions. Anytime someone expects justification, they are not entitled to. This sentence protects your autonomy. What not to do? After saying it, one of the biggest mistakes is following it with additional justification, clarification, or excuses. I don't feel the need to explain myself, but I don't feel the need to explain myself. You just don't understand. These undermine the authority of the original statement. Once you say it, stop talking. Silence reinforces the boundary and signals confidence. The Stoic perspective. Stoicism teaches that external pressures should not control your inner life. Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus emphasized choosing which battles are worth engaging and conserving energy for what is within your control. By saying, I don't feel the need to explain myself, you embody this principle. You are choosing your focus, protecting your peace, and refusing to expend energy on futile validation. This is not arrogance or avoidance. It is rational self-possession. Why this reply protects your self-respect. Over-explaining to satisfy others erodes confidence and self-respect. It trains people to expect compliance and reduces your autonomy over time. This sentence stops that cycle. It demonstrates that your life, choices, and reasoning belong to you. You are not accountable to others for their judgments, opinions, or need for justification. Final thought. I don't feel the need to explain myself is not rudeness, it is quiet strength, authority, and emotional independence. It ends unnecessary arguments, protects your energy, and demonstrates that you are in control of your own life. Once people realize that demanding explanations will not elicit a reaction, they often stop trying to control you, adjust their behavior, or disengage entirely. That is the true power behind this deceptively simple sentence. And there you have it, simple sentences that, when used thoughtfully, give you control over conversations without aggression, without anger, and without losing your composure. These replies aren't about shutting people down to hurt them. They're about shutting down unnecessary conflict while protecting your energy, your focus, and your peace of mind. Each one works because it combines clarity, psychological insight, and a subtle, quiet authority that manipulative, argumentative, or toxic people find incredibly difficult to challenge. Think about it. Most conflicts drag on not because anyone is right or wrong, but because people get pulled into emotional loops, ego-driven battles, or repetitive patterns. The sentences we've covered do three things in common. They reclaim your time and energy. They remove unnecessary emotional manipulation. They assert boundaries calmly and firmly. By practicing these replies, you're not just responding differently, you're shaping the dynamics of interaction itself. You're showing that you are grounded, self-aware, and not dependent on others for validation or approval. And that's exactly what makes these sentences so disarming. The beauty of this approach is that it works in almost every area of life. In the workplace, with colleagues or bosses who push too hard, in family dynamics, where old patterns of control or guilt show up, in friendships or relationships, where opinions and criticism can feel invasive, even online, where arguments can escalate in seconds. And here's the Stoic secret behind all of this. The goal isn't to win every conversation, it's to maintain your inner calm and protect what you can control. As Epictetus taught, external events are outside your control, but your reactions, your choices, and your peace of mind are entirely within it. These replies let you act on that principle every single day. Remember, power in conversation doesn't always look loud or aggressive. Sometimes the most powerful responses are quiet, measured, and deliberate. Each time you use one of these sentences correctly, you are practicing mastery, not over someone else, but over yourself. So start small. Try one or two of these replies in your next challenging conversation. Notice the effect. Notice how your calm authority changes the energy of the interaction. Over time, these simple phrases will become second nature, and you'll notice something incredible. People stop trying to push, prod, or manipulate you because they sense that you are unshakable. That's the quiet power you've been building all along. The kind of strength that doesn't need to argue to be respected, that doesn't need to shout to be heard, and that doesn't need conflict to assert itself. Use it wisely. Protect your energy and let your calm authority do the talking. Because true mastery in conversation isn't about dominating others, it's about controlling yourself and refusing to surrender your peace for anyone else's drama.